Welcome back to the CD Fitness Podcast. I am your host, Cheryl DeGuzman, and I just want to say that I'm so excited to have this podcast back up and running. If you haven't already checked out my client, Lisa Johnson's episode, it is up on iTunes and Spotify for the full episode from last Friday. Lisa is an amazing, inspiring woman who's tried all different kinds of fitness programs, and she's had a few different diets that she's tried throughout the course of her life for as long as she could remember. And now she is one of my clients in the Black Dress Project, and she is crushing it. She is over 50 years old and still working towards her goals and living her best life. I'm so lucky to be able to work with her. And now, as far as I'm going to do a little update on the 75 Hard Challenge, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm currently on day 31. So as I record this episode, I feel mostly pretty good. Just a quick recap on the challenge. It's a personal endeavor I've taken on as a mental toughness challenge, more than a fitness challenge. So what it is it's 2 45-minute workouts per day. One of those workouts must be outside. You follow a diet with no cheat meals or exceptions, and there is no alcohol. And you read at least 10 pages of a nonfiction book. You also drink a gallon of water and take a progress picture every day for 75 days in a row. And if you don't fulfill your tasks, you start back at day 1. So what I've done is I've managed to find it best to do my outdoor workout first thing in the morning, along with my progress picture before my brain can even really process anything. I simply put my clothes on depending on what the weather looks like, especially here in Chicago. It's so unpredictable, and I get out the door. This is usually at 8 a.m. or earlier. So I typically do some high knees, butt kicks, and leg swings until the end of the block, and then start the timer for 23 minutes because it's a little over halfway for 45, and I just start running. Most of the time it starts with a jog. I feel like my muscles and my ligaments just start nagging at me a little bit in the morning. And then usually about after 5 minutes in, I kind of settle in. So then for my second workout, usually later in the day, I've been doing virtual CrossFit workouts with my home gym. CrossFit Displays has gone virtual since the start of this quarantine, and it's been really great to still have some strength building and intense workouts with structure, and even without having to think about what to do. So that's what's made working out at home a little bit easier and more enjoyable for me, and it's minimal equipment. So CrossFit Displays is really crushing the game with the programming. My colleague Carl is doing an amazing job coaching athletes from a distance and staying safe, just still running the classes. And the owner of the gym, Scott, is doing amazing with the programming and just doing what he can to adapt for the needs of our members and our athletes. So it's been awesome. When I can get outside again on nicer days, I'll do some weightlifting, but wow, my strength has definitely gone down the drain. So I know that's a really minimal worry right now in the grand scheme of a pandemic, but you work hard for those gains. And so I've kind of accepted that when I do get back to the gym, it's kind of like going back to square one-ish. I won't have the same expectations of being as strong as I once was with the Olympic lifts or with my power lifts, and that's okay. It'll just be a whole new world going back to the gym. The drinking water, it's been easier. I have a stainless steel straw to drink from my 32-ounce cup, which helps because then I can mindlessly drink from it throughout the day, which is helpful. So if you haven't realized that pattern, developing mindless habits in this course makes everything easier. In this challenge, I should say. So I also love to use like a drop or two of a citrus oil from doTERRA, such as a lemon, wild orange, or grapefruit in my water, and it adds some flavor to it. Now, as far as the diet aspect of the challenge, this really hasn't changed much. I fast, so I do intermittent fasting from 8 p.m. to 10 a.m. on most days, sometimes until 11 or 12, and I'm also tracking my calories and macronutrients using MyFitnessPal. So that's something I've been doing for a while. The fast is fairly new. I've stuck to it. And I adjust my macronutrients as needed, just based on my activity level, my energy, and my hunger. So this really hasn't changed much, and therefore my body really hasn't changed too much. If anything, I feel like I'm losing a little bit of muscle because I'm not weight training as much and doing more cardio. But my endurance and aerobic capacity has certainly increased with the amount of runs and walks I'm doing every day. So it's been really great as far as the diet goes to take another extensive break from alcohol intake. It makes my mind so much more clear and more focused, specifically on, the weekends when I would have alcoholic beverages. My sleep is usually pretty on point, unless I've undereaten a little bit too much. And most of all, it's really decreased my anxiety levels, as kind of odd as that sounds. But I think overall, this challenge itself has maybe helped me cope with feelings of anxiety much better throughout this quarantine period, bringing my worry levels down and putting me in control of my day and my time and keeping me healthy most of all. The 10 pages of reading I read at night, that's not too different either. I'm currently reading Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. He's a former plastic surgeon and he turned psychologist. And his aim is to help people use visualization techniques to improve their self-image and to fulfill their goals. So it's right up my alley. I love learning about the human mind and the body as it connects together. And what I love about this book is not only does it give a ton of information, some relatable stories, and compares this theory of psycho-cybernetics to sports psychology and application, but it also gives practical exercises to apply in order to move the needle in getting you closer to your goals. So something I do while I'm reading is to take notes so that I can go back to it and apply those practices when I have time after I've processed it, because after I read, I just want to sleep. All in all, it's going pretty well. I did have one real test day, as I like to call it, or people who are doing the challenge like to call it, on day 24. I remember it was a Sunday. It was a day I was just really tired. I had a super long run. I think I only drank half my water, and it was already 5 p.m. And my family, bless them, I love them so much. And I'm typically pretty good about passing up dessert on most days, but they had cheesecake at dinner on this test day. And cheesecake is my absolute favorite dessert. So I just wanted to go to sleep. It was 7 p.m. or I wanted to eat a ton of food that was not necessarily fit within the boundaries of my quote unquote diet, or even just have a glass of wine to unwind before another long week. But I literally laid there, in fetal position. Then I sprawled out to breathe. Then I cuddled my dog. And I just kept thinking about how I couldn't give in, because this is what I committed to. The mental fortitude that this challenge is going to bring for me is a huge gift, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So I've got a little over 40 days left, which in the grand scheme of things, it's not really bad at all. In fact, applying this positive mindset in both the workouts and just in everyday life of quarantine has made this time probably the best time to absolutely do this challenge, which I've been trying to do for a while now. So what I've really begun to embrace throughout it is that mind-body connection that I was talking about. I've always been intrigued by how our thinking and our mental processing connect together and impact our body's systems and our health overall. And that's really, again, why I chose to do this, is to embody CD Fitness as a brand, conscious, diligent fitness, bringing the conscious awareness to the level of daily thought and application into diligent action to achieve your fitness goals. And so I have my personal fitness goals. I have my personal and professional goals as well. And this challenge is really opening my eyes to myself and what I've committed myself to. And I'm learning a lot. So I'll keep you guys posted on how that goes. But as far as mindset goes, I want to talk a little bit about, how my mindset has shifted about my body and about the seasons and, just over the course of time, how it's changed. So I remember when my mindset about health was all about being as skinny as possible. So right around this time of year, as the days are getting warmer, I would have my mindset on my summer body and being summer body ready. Shorts and skirts were back in season. I was so invested in trying to get that thigh gap because for whatever reason, that unattainable thing was so appealing in trying to chase and trying to achieve. Something I was striving for, even though it was never possible for me. Summer was always bikini season. I didn't own any one-piece bathing suits at the time, and so that meant I wanted to do anything and everything to have as flat of a stomach as possible. So even though no matter how many Abra per X sessions I did or how many miles I ran per week, I really never felt like I had any. I just kind of had this one pack. So I didn't really understand how girls had abs or that toned look that Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera did. And I also did not have many of the other feminine parts that most of the other girls or teenagers at that point my age had. So it was this weird paradox of being excited for summer while still dreading its arrival. I never knew if I was ever going to live a summer feeling extremely ready. When in reality, I don't think there was anything I had to prepare for. I didn't truly understand how not to care about what people would think about me or what I could do to put on a bikini and not overthink about what I should and shouldn't eat the day before, the day of, or just so I can feel like I look acceptable at this time of year. So I'm honestly just relieved, to say the least, to have overcome those dark years. As you can tell about the way that I talk about that and maybe my pacing, and I don't know, I can even feel it in my chest that it's something I just kind of want to cruise through in my memory. But I like to say I've grown out of that mindset and that thinking and that phase of having constant, daily, hourly body dysmorphia after years of doing the work. So it really took years and years, I would say over a decade of both physical and mental work to no longer think of a body of being summer ready, but simply always ready, as maybe I'd like to call it now. And it became this shift from a focus on the physical appearance of my body to the physical capabilities of it. It was a shift from wanting to conform to what I saw was the norm of what society accepted as attractive or acceptable for women to embracing my own individual norm. Everything from my thick thighs, which would never have the thigh gap, my short torso, which is boxy, along with my broad shoulders, and my body just constantly changing year after year. From the freshman 15 to running, insanity, CrossFit, to now just a little bit of everything in between. Over the course of 10 years, it was this shift that needed to happen in order to set myself free from continuously numbing myself with food, with exercise, and sometimes even alcohol. So while I am a big believer in powerful visualization to achieve your goals, there's one kind of visualization I encourage us women not to do. And that visualization is of your body looking like another woman's or another person's or whatever you want it to look like that you've seen somewhere else, whether that's in a magazine or in social media or even within your own circle of friends. I mean, heck, I look at my sister, and as beautiful and strong and amazing as she is, she shares the same genes with me, and we still have different bodies. Yeah, there are similarities, but we are each individually unique from one another's. And you are as to all others out there as well. There's no two bodies that are alike. So when I would visualize the body I wanted, I would look at Victoria's Secret models and even some of the Pussycat dolls. I thought that maybe if I dieted enough or exercised hard and just did everything I could that I might look like them. And I did the same for when I started CrossFit. We have this lovely platform called Instagram now, and I followed all these different CrossFit girls and athletes with my hopes that my body would one day look like theirs. And then somehow I stopped. I stopped the scrolling. I stopped the stalking, the body stalking, maybe I'd call it. I stopped fantasizing about this fictional character of myself, or not character, this fictional version of myself in a body of someone else's. I just could no longer waste my time and energy on doing that. There's no way I can control it to look exactly like someone else's without some sort of plastic surgery or Photoshop. So what the hell is even the point? Like, I think I've finally grown out of it to snap out of it in realizing that there is no point in that. And it took me a long time. So this is the shift, ladies, that we're making right now. I want you to commit to yourself that this is the last time you're thinking about being summer ready or bikini ready, and you're ready to say that your body is always ready for any season, for any challenge, or any outfit at any time. Okay, it's always ready for you. This is the vehicle which carries you and your individual, unique self. This, ladies, is the revolution for body neutrality. This is a term I actually borrowed from Go Fit Jo. She's an awesome blogger and health coach that I look up to and aspire to be one day when I am a mother and a successful entrepreneur, just as she is. You know, this is the kind of thing that I aspire to be now, instead of the body, the physical appearance. It's the character traits, it's the values, it's the impact that I look into a woman or another mentor or a figure that makes me say, I want to be like them. And that is the visualization I challenge you to take on. So as Go Fit Jo puts it, with body neutrality, even if we may never be in positivity completely, 100% with our body, we can have the power to neutralize our relationship with it. We can celebrate it more through all of its changes, and most of all, shift from wanting to conform to what society's norm is to embracing your own. So let's bring it on this summer, ladies. I know we're working hard during quarantine. I know you're grinding with your workouts and your outdoorsy things and doing all the things at home, just getting yourself ready for another awesome summer. And we are going to be living that hot girl summer life, hopefully. And if not, well, we'll slowly make the comeback. But in the meantime, don't forget to follow along with the CD Fitness episodes. I hope that you guys will check them out each Friday. They will be released on iTunes and Spotify. Next week, I have a special guest. Her name is Amy Izette. She is owner and founder of Core Energetics Chicago. She is a certified core energetics and radical aliveness practitioner. I had collaborated with Amy in the Black Dress Project to provide the girls with stress management techniques at the start of quarantine and some energy invigoration through movement via Zoom calls. And she is an amazing person with such great knowledge about the mind-body connection. So we'll be going over a whole lot of juicy content on that. And she may even walk me through some exercises live on the episode. So stay tuned. And for the sake of flattening the curve, stay home, y'all. I'll talk to you soon.